We will now start the panel discussion. To begin, I would like to introduce the distinguished speakers. Our moderator is Masato Takamatsu, President of the Tourism Resilience Japan. And the panelists are Mr. William Kalua, Assistant Deputy Director for Bilateral Cooperation ASEAN Region at the Ministry of Tourism, Republic of Indonesia, and Ms. Deborah Park, International Relations Deputy Director at the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, Republic of Korea, and Mr. Tadashi Kaneko, Director of UN Tourism Regional Support Office for Asia and Pacific, and Ms. Hiroko Suzuki from Japan Tourism Agency. So, Ms. Park is joining us online today. Mr. Takamatsu, would you please begin the panel discussion?
Thank you. Excellencies, good afternoon. I'm Masato Takamatsu, the moderator of the panel, and it is my great pleasure to welcome distinguished panelists on the stage and on the monitor. Following the keynote presentation by Dr. Dirk Grasser, Director of Sustainable Tourism and Resilience, UN Tourism, and the presentation of the roadmap for the global tourism resilience and the introduction of the tourism resilience guidelines and good practices by Japan Tourism Agency. Now, I would like to invite the audience to the panel presentation and discussion to further explore the case study of good practices in 3 countries. Today, the panel will focus on the first pillar of the Sendai Statement and share what each participating state is doing and planning to minimize the impacts of the crisis and disasters to the tourism sector. First, each panel will make a brief presentation on the tourism resilience initiatives in each state. First speaker would be Mr. William Kalua, and he will present Indonesia's approach to the tourism resilience. Mr. Kalua, the floor is yours.
Very good afternoon, and thank you so much, Mr. Takamatsu, Ms. Park, Ms. Suzuki, Mr. Kaneko, and thank you for UN Tourism and JTA for giving me invitation to attend this symposium. I will start my presentation about Indonesia's approach to tourism resilience. So, I will start with this quote that within beauty can comes danger. That's also the message of what Indonesia is. We are beautiful, but we have like a potential risk as well. So tourism resilience has become a national priority for Indonesia. Being located at the Pacific Ring of Fire, we recognize the risk that risk management must be embedded into tourism development. Our approach focuses on 3 key elements. So first, the developing of integrated system. Second, empowering local communities. And thirdly, strengthening multi-stakeholder collaboration. These 3 elements form the foundation of our resilience framework. So next, let me talk about strengthening risk anticipation. In terms of risk anticipation, Indonesia applies a multi-hazard approach in tourism destinations. This involves strong coordination among key national agencies, including BNPB, or Agency for Disaster Management, BMKG, Agency for Weather and Climate Information, and Basarnas for search and rescue operations. We utilize integrated digital systems such as INARISK, QRSAR, and CISPARNAS, which is a national tourism information system. This system allows us to map risk, monitor conditions, and support decision-making across destinations, including at the level of tourism villages. Another key aspect is clearly defining roles across stakeholders. Let me return back. This includes coordination between the national government, local government, communities, private sectors, and academia. One example is our collaboration with the University of Indonesia, one of the top universities in Indonesia, through Kedai Reka program, which is a funding program. This partnership helps bridge policy and implementation, ensuring that resilience strategies are practical and applicable on the ground, not only on theory. And we also continue to strengthen our information systems. One example is the development of Sidewita. It is a tourism village information system integrated with Sisparnas. Sisparnas itself is tourism information in national level. This platform provides risk data, e-learning modules, and real-time communication features, or panic button. It also includes an emergency panic button, which allows local tourism managers to quickly alert authorities and coordinate response during incident. At the national level, Sisparnas is integrated with QR SAR, or Quick Reaction Search and Rescue, INARISK, and weather system, enabling real-time data updates through API integration. This ensures that information can flow quickly from national system to the destination level, supporting timely decision making. At the local level, capacity building is essential. We provide tourism or training for the tourism village managers through the CHSE, or the Cleanliness, Health, Safety and Environment and Disaster Risk modules, where this program have been implemented across more than 50 villages in 8 provinces of Indonesia. We also conduct field verification and provide safety equipment. Our key principle is that local communities are the first responders and therefore must be well prepared. In terms of implementation, Indonesia has several key programs. This includes tourism risk mapping in priority destinations, contingency planning, for example, in Labuan Bajo, as is shown here. Labuan Bajo is one of our tourism priority destinations, and the development of guidelines for resilient destinations. We also promote impact-based forecasting, where weather and risk information is tailored to tourism activities. This helps ensure that information is not only available, but also, most importantly, actionable. And what the key takeaways? In conclusion, Indonesia believes that tourism resilience must be system-based, community-driven, and data-informed. This requires strong coordination, effective use of technology, and continuous capacity building at all levels. Furthermore, Indonesia would like to highlight several key areas, which is translating a global framework into practical implementation, role of technology in crisis management, strengthening community-based resilience, and enhancing multi-stakeholders coordinations. We also see great potential for regional cooperation, particularly here among Japan, Indonesia, and Korea, as we move forward towards the tourism resilience agenda for 2027. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Terima kasih, Mr. Kalua, for sharing us the amazing collaboration partnership scheme and comprehensive digital information system for tourism resilience in Indonesia. Fantastic. Wow, now next I would like to welcome Ms. Deborah Park for her presentation on Korea's case. Ms. Park,
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Konnichiwa, minasan. I'm Deborah Tongwon Park, Deputy Director at the International Tourism Policy Division of the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism of the Republic of Korea. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Japan Tourism Agency for inviting Korea to share key initiatives on the topic of tourism resilience. I apologize on my behalf, not being able to be there in person. I'm sure I'm missing out a lot. The Sendai Declaration, which reaffirmed increasing impacts and complexity of disasters, called for countries to strengthen efforts in enhancing preparedness and risk reduction against crises and disasters. It continues to serve as a vital guideline in shaping policy directions for disaster prevention in the tourism sector. Korea fully recognizes that tourism resilience must begin with early prevention and strong coordination among relevant authorities and stakeholders. In this regard, we have established the National Tourism Strategy Meeting as a whole-of-government platform to identify key issues in tourism and strengthen coordination and collaboration among relevant ministries. Originally chaired by the Prime Minister, the meeting was elevated to the presidential level on 25th of February this year and is now presided over by the President himself, reflecting the government's strengthened commitment to tourism policy at the national level. We are also working to institutionalize this arrangement through legislation to ensure sustained high-level coordination and policy continuity. For effective tourism crisis response, interministerial cooperation is essential. However, we cannot underestimate the importance of the expertise and information from the private sector. The National Tourism Strategy Meeting invites tourism associations and operators to share their insights from the ground and changes in tourism demand and explore practical crisis response measures in depth, which are taken into account when setting tourism policy directions in the future. Korea has also developed institutional measures to enhance preparedness for different types of disasters. In particular, under the Framework Act on the Management of Disasters and Safety, which is overseen by the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, the MCSD, Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, has been designated as the authority responsible for the prevention, preparedness, and response for disasters and accidents at sport facilities, performance venues, theme parks, and camping sites. Accordingly, the ministry conducts regular safety inspections and enforces compliance with safety guidelines to prevent incidents such as crowd congestion at large-scale events, including concerts and sports events, as well as damage from heavy rain, fire at campsites or theme parks. Also, when foreign tourists travel Korea, and when they experience accidents such as at such venues or anywhere across the country, they can call the Korea Travel Hotline Service at 1330-1330 to receive interpretation support, guidance to the police or emergency room, or basic assistance such as information on nearby medical facilities and insurance-related procedures. This was a brief introduction and overview of Korea's policy initiatives on strengthening tourism resilience. Once again, I'd like to thank the Japan Tourism Agency for providing a meaningful platform to exchange valuable perspectives and look forward to hearing further insights from the other panelists and moderated discussion following the presentation to deepen cooperation in addressing challenges and strengthening tourism resilience across our region. Thank you.
감사합니다, Ms. Park, for your impressive presentation on the National Tourism Strategy Meeting as a whole-of-government platform for tourism crisis management in Korea, and the Korea Travel Hotline Service at 1330 that provides multilingual guidance and information to the international visitors to ensure their safety. Now, it's my pleasure to invite Ms. Hiroko Suzuki for her presentation on Japan's efforts to enhance tourism resilience. Ms. Suzuki, the floor is yours.
Yes. Good afternoon again. Today, I would like to briefly introduce our initiative to strengthen tourism resilience among local government and tourism businesses. Tourism crisis management has two key objectives. First, ensuring safety of tourists. And second, supporting the continuity of business. However, at the present, there are two key challenges. First, even though regional disaster prevention plans do exist, they often do not sufficiently focus on tourists, especially international tourists. In many cases, they lack clear measure for tourists. As a result, local stakeholders may struggle to determine how to respond to travelers during disasters. There are also challenges in coordination between local government and tourism businesses, which are on the front line during crisis. In response to these issues, Japan Tourism Agency developed guidelines to provide clear direction. In 2021, we formulated guidelines for preparing manuals for responding to international visitors in crisis. Then, in 2022, we developed the Guide for Preparing Tourism Crisis Management Plans, which summarize key points for formulating tourism crisis management plan at local level. And since April 2022, we have provided various support for local government and DMOs and private business operators who want to develop crisis management plan. Let me briefly explain the overview of the guideline. This guide provides clear guidance on what needs to be done across all phases of crisis management, which is risk reduction, preparedness, response, and recovery. Because local government and private sectors' role differ, we prepare two versions, one for local government and DMOs, and another for tourism businesses, such as accommodation and transportation providers. The guide also provides practical examples, templates, and reference cases to support implementation. As you can see this slide, these items are examples of the key elements that could be included in the tourism crisis management plan. Based on the guide, Japan Tourism Agency provides various forms of support to regions in developing their own tourism crisis management plans. For example, as you can see this slide, we support regional preparatory surveys and dispatch experts to the region. We also support regional workshop and briefing involving regional stakeholders, as well as drills based on tourism crisis management plans. For example, experts provide advice tailored to local conditions or potential issues tourists may face, then reflect these insights into their tourism crisis management plan by developing measures to address these challenges. As a result of these efforts, currently about half of the prefectures have now formulated their own crisis management plan at local level. Last, I would like to introduce an example of Okinawa Prefecture. Tourism is vital to Okinawa's economy. However, the region is highly vulnerable to natural hazards such as typhoons. Because Okinawa is made up of islands, disruption to flight and ferries during disaster can easily leave tourists who are unable to move the island. To prepare these risks, based on the tourism crisis management plan, Okinawa Prefecture conduct effective and realistic drills in collaboration with DMOs and tourism industries. These drills simulate situations using visual and audio effects and help participants experience the confusion that arises during crisis and identify areas for improvement in crisis response. By presenting clear direction, Japan Tourism Agency have encouraged region to take proactive action. Awareness of tourism crisis management in Japan is steadily growing. We will continue to support local effort and work closely with all stakeholders to strengthen regional resilience across tourism sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Suzuki, for your presentation on the Japanese government's support and encouragement for the local governments and municipalities to develop their local tourism crisis management plans. Well, having heard the presentation of the tourism resilience initiatives in 3 countries, I suppose the audience is quite interested in learning more specifically how the initiatives and collaboration frameworks work when a disaster event actually takes place and strike the destination and the visitors. Now, may I ask Mr. Kalua, how can multi-agency coordination and the integrated emergency response system make visitors and tourism operators on site take immediate action to protect themselves from the impacts of maritime disaster events? I would be happy if you elaborated with a case or an example.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Takamatsu. So Labuan Bajo is a very unique destination. So it's among top 5 Indonesia tourism destinations. Why it's unique? Because it's mostly consists of maritime tourism activities. In order to reach the main destinations, you need to take a boat. So therefore, coordination among multiple agencies, such as the Ministry of Tourism, where we have the Labuan Bajo Flores Authority, the National Search Rescue Agency, the Meteorological, Climatological, and Geophysical Agency, the Harbor Master, and others are crucial. At present, we are continuing to strengthen and integrate our early warning and emergency response system. While coordination mechanisms are in place, ensuring full coverage, particularly for smaller vessels, remains an ongoing challenge. For example, in event of extreme weather, high tides, extreme weather, the meteorological and climatological and geophysical agency will provide weather alerts and early warnings, which are disseminated through digital platforms and communicated to port authorities and operators. The harbor master will or may regulate vessel movements, including like delaying departures and advising them, those who already like sail, to return to the ports when the condition worsen. At the same time, the search and rescue agency are put on standby for emergency response, supported by systems such as the quick response search and rescue. And coordination is increasingly being enhanced through integration with platforms such as INARES, which I previously mentioned, and CISPARNAS. These efforts are part of a broader push towards more integrated and real-time information sharing. At the operational level, many tour operators have begun implementing safety protocols, including safety briefings and so on, with local authorities. However, the level of compliance and capacity may vary across operators. This case illustrates why, while a fully integrated system is still being developed, ongoing improvements in multi-agency coordinations, digital integration, and stakeholder awareness are already helping to strengthen the last-mile communication. These efforts aim to ensure that risk information can increasingly reach tourists or the visitors and operators on site, enabling them to take more timely and informed actions. Thank you.
This is really amazing. And if I were a visitor to Indonesia, I feel very comfortable, even in a very hazardous situation. Thank you very much for your,
We're
for
trying
your
to
response.
make your visit in the future more comfortable.
Okay, maybe next year. All right, let's ask Ms. Park. I heard that Korea was very successful in crowd management of more than 200,000 fans at the BTS The Comeback Live last Saturday. A big congratulations to the Korean government and the city of Seoul. I figure your public-private partnership framework have worked perfectly. Could you share with us how you prepared to ensure the safety at the Super Mega concert event and how it worked? And I'm also very much interested in your multilingual 1330 hotline for tourists. What kind of information and advice do the operators provide to the international visitors in normal situation and in emergency, such as when visitors are experiencing impacts and risks from disaster event? Okay, Ms. Park, please.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Takamatsu, for the question. Now, I think it is really timely, very timely, to take the recent BTS comeback show held on the 21st of March as an example to illustrate Korea's approach to preparedness for large-scale events. Korea's approach can be understood in 3 stages: pre-event planning, on-site management, and coordinated response. First, in terms of pre-event planning, relevant ministries, local governments, and event organizers conducted joint risk assessments in advance. For this event particularly, which was expected to attract a maximum of 260,000 people around the Gwanghwamun area, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism carried out a high-level on-site inspection on the 20th of March, which is the day before the event, led by the minister. This included a comprehensive review of crowd control measures, stage safety, and emergency response systems, as well as coordination arrangements among relevant agencies. In addition, an emergency operations center was established to enable real-time monitoring and rapid response. Furthermore, in accordance with the Framework Act on the Management of Disasters and Safety, the ministry issued a caution-level disaster crisis alert for the concert during the event period. Notably, this marked the first time such an alert was issued specifically for a concert, allowing all stakeholders to operate under heightened preparedness. Second, on-site management was strengthened through clear role allocation and coordination. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism acted as the lead ministry for the event and issued disaster crisis alert, operated its emergency operations center, and reviewed the organizer's disaster response plan in accordance with the Performance Act. The Ministry of Interior and Safety, as the lead authority for crowd-related disasters, oversaw overall crowd safety management, organized a joint government safety inspection team, and operated an integrated on-site coordination system. The Ministry of Health and Welfare deployed disaster medical assistant teams and rapid response units to ensure timely medical support. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport managed crowd safety in nearby subway stations in cooperation with the Seoul Metro. The National Counterterrorism Center monitored potential terrorism-related risks, while the Korea Heritage Service implemented protective measures for the Gwanghwamun and Gyeongbokgung Palace area as a national heritage site. The Korean National Police Agency and the fire authorities were responsible for maintaining public order and deploying emergency response personnel. Finally, the Seoul Metropolitan Government supported overall event operations, supervised by the implementation of safety management plans, and provided administrative coordination. So during the event, close communication was maintained among all stakeholders, enabling real-time information sharing and immediate response in case of any incident. In addition, services for international visitors, such as the 1330 Korea Travel Hotline, were expanded to provide multilingual assistance, including guidance on transportation, medical facilities, and emergency support, and etc. They also issued a special manual for to the workers at the hotline. Mind me once. Thank you. And through this comprehensive and coordinated approach, we aim to ensure not only the safety of participants, but also the confidence of visitors and local communities. As this was one of the largest scale events of its kind, it also provides a valuable opportunity to test our preparedness and coordination mechanisms in practice. We hope to further refine our system by incorporating lessons learned and strengthening coordination and response capabilities to enhance tourism resilience. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Park. I couldn't count how many agencies are you named, and it's really perfectly a whole of government initiative. Thank you very much for sharing this, case and experience. And let's see, I'd like to invite Ms. Suzuki. In your view, what are the current challenges in promoting crisis management in the tourism sector through collaboration between the national and local governments and private sectors? And additionally, could you please share with us what kind of support local government are seeking to upgrade their tourism resilience, and what kind of support the Japan Tourism Agency is providing? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Takamatsu. Regarding the collaboration between national and local government and the private sector, one major challenge is limited manpower at local level. Although regional disaster plans do exist, they often do not adequately cover tourists. As a result, in the actual crisis, local stakeholders may struggle to determine how to respond to visitors, especially international tourists. Even though the guideline developed by Japan Tourism Agency provides comprehensive action from prevention and preparedness to response and recovery, sometimes it is difficult to implement everything at once. Therefore, I think it is important to clearly identify a set of priority actions, especially under the limited resources. Therefore, I see that it is important to share insight into what to prioritize first within the limited human resources. So far, Japan Tourism Agency has dispatched experts to the region, conducted surveys, and organized seminars to share best practices to support the development of tourism crisis management plan at local level. And going forward, I think it is necessary to strengthen our support, such as providing introductory assistance to help local stakeholders to take their first step. We believe that sharing concrete case studies and practical know-how from different regions is also essential in further promoting this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Suzuki. I fully understand, as an expert of the tourism resilience, I'm part of this effort of the government to support the local governments and develop their own crisis management plan. And I think Japan, JTA, is really doing well in this direction. Now, finally, but not the least, Mr. Kaneko, from perspectives of the Regional Support Office for the Asian and Pacific UN Tourism, which is mandated to promote resilience of the tourism sector in the Asian Pacific region, what is your impression regarding the progress of tourism resilience in the member states, and how can and will the UN Tourism support them to be more resilient and sustainable tourism destinations?
Thank you very much, Mr. Takamatsu. I'm so happy to be here and join this great panel discussion. And I appreciate all the panelists for a great presentation. I learned a lot from your presentations. And if possible, I'd like to make a brief comments on each presentation. The first one is the Williams comment, the presentation. This is my personal opinion, but when a disaster strikes, what the tourists need most is reliable information provided by the reliable, official, and legitimate source. And at the same time now, from the different viewpoint, when responding to disasters, mutual trust is very important, critically important for all those involved. I'm deeply impressed that with the initiatives in Indonesia, including ③Panel, which certainly contribute to both demands of the tourists and how can I say the people to respond to the disaster. So both are demands through the providing the official, reliable information. I'm really surprised that you were advanced treatment. Thank you very much. And the second one, the Deborah's presentation. Hi. The case of public events was very new to me. I think they successfully create the ideal setting for implementing countermeasures. I think that the advantage of this approach is predictability, I think. People can have time for preparation in advance to the target date. This is a very good opportunity, I think. This is a good opportunity to confirm the rules and the responsibilities at the disaster strikes. We would like to share this experience as a good practice. And the last one, the Hiroko's presentation, I share the perspective that local initiatives are very important. And the guidance by national government is very helpful for the local communities to work together with the tourism industry. I hope that this activity will serve as an opportunity to promote coordination, integration, and unification with the crisis management plans in other fields as well. Well, we'll also, Regional Support Office will take note of these cases as a leading good practice, very good practices, and share these experiences with member states. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kaneko, for your insightful comments to each panelist and a commitment to support the member states in the endeavor for tourism resilience. I wish I could continue this conversation on because it's so informative and meaningful. But because of the interest of time, I have to conclude this session. With this, I would like to saying that being confident to say that each and every state in the region, in close collaboration with the local governments and private sector, is making steady steps in line with the Sendai statement and guideline and the mutual cooperation and communication among the member states to make the tourism more resilient and sustainable. So at this time, would you like to please join me to give a round of applause to the fantastic panelists? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all the speakers for engaging and insightful discussion.